Star quality. I got it. I got this. You got it.
You got it.
My chart says so. Look at me go. Sun moon rising. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. Earthlings. What's it all mean? What's it all mean? Star quality.
What's it all mean? What's it all mean? Mean.
Star quality.
Woo!
No, dude, really, what does it all mean? I got it. You got it. We got it. Star quality. Star quality. Welcome back to Star Quality. I'm your host, Stevie Goldstein, astrologer, and y'all, we are almost done with this gauntlet we have been in, and this full moon in Libra, despite some of its reminders of the challenges that have been the last few months, is a very welcome release. So we are going to go over the chart of this very epic, very Venusian full moon. This full moon is happening 40 minutes before Venus ends its retrograde period and goes direct. It has been quite a challenging 2025 astrologically. We have just been in nonstop confusion, reversals, being retrogrades. There's only been 5 days this year so far where there was no personal planet retrogrades, and that was from February 24th through 28th ish. It was like that last week of February where we had the Pisces new moon. God, that was like a dreamy, a dreamy little break. But as of April 12th, right after this full moon in Libra, which is happening on April 12th, 2025 at 5:22 p.m., then we end our Venus retrograde, which we've been experiencing since March 1st. And then 2025 starts. I know we had the spring equinox and Aries season, March 20th, and that is typically seen as, the astrological new year, when things begin, when we're starting. And yes, technically true. Spiritually, not so much. Spiritually, the new year starts April 13th, 2025, because it has just been such a time of coming to terms with that this year is unlike any that most of us have ever experienced before. This year, whether it's personally or societally, there's many things that we will just never return to. And I think thinking about it in terms of from COVID times and the pandemic, looking backwards, we're just in a totally, totally new era. In this time, during all this retrograde season, we also had Neptune move into Aries. There's been a really loud, repetitive, constant ringing of Aries and Pisces stories. I'm going to relink the articles that I wrote about Venus retrograde in both Aries and Pisces, because it started in Aries and then retrograded back into Pisces. I'm also going to link the article I wrote about Mercury retrograde, because it also started in Aries, retrograded back into Pisces. And honestly, probably worth rereading the Mars retrograde post as well. I'll link all three, all the personal planets. That retrograde started back in December 6th, 2024. So we started the new year with a Mars retrograde. It ended February 23rd of this year, 2025. And that's when we had like the baton toss, pass, whatever you want to call it, with Venus retrograde. And that Mars retrograde was happening in the signs of Leo and then into Cancer. And we're still in the shadow of the Mars retrograde. Mars retrogrades are extra long, extra strong. After this Venus retrograde, we still will be in the shadow, but to me, it really is indicating a total shift. We are pivoting into something new. The astrology of May and June is so promising and lovely that it's almost, I keep saying this, like, I'm like, what is going to happen? Because it's such a pivot. It's such a contrast. It feels like such a 180 that I am very curious what that means. I have some thoughts. Maybe I should theorize. I don't know. Like, I think, well, it feels still challenging, but in a way more positive way. So we'll see how that goes. I'm curious how this has all been going for you all. Please sound off in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. My reminder as someone, who works as an astrologer and studied astrology and have been doing this for a long time now is we really learn from each other. We learn from our experiences of our charts going with the mundane, what's happening in the astrology of the now. So, yeah, I'm curious how everyone's been. I've had this, all this has been impacting my chart in a almost diabolical, literal way. I have the Mars retrograde right on my ascendant. I had the Neptune switch, the Venus retrograde, the Mercury retrograde right on my chart ruler, right on my midheaven. Hot tip, when anything is happening on your angles, and when we talk about angles, that means the ascendant, the descendant, the IC, the MC. First, the cusp of the first house, fourth house, seventh house, 10th house. Why? Because those houses pack a punch. Those are the houses of self, of home, of other, and of career, of, the one-on-one, the one with others, the internal and the external. It just, those just hit harder. And so for anyone else experiencing transits on the angles, hope you're doing okay, because damn, I was really nearly taken out by those transits that we've been in. I did an episode on this for What's Your Sign long ago, but maybe now that the astrology is starting to mellow out a little bit more, I can hopefully have more space to do some more evergreen educational episodes. But those houses I just mentioned on the angles, those are angular houses. Then we also have succedent and cadent houses. So those also give us a vibe of what those types of houses would be. So that's what I'm referencing when I'm talking about the angles or the angular houses. They're like, it's like cardinal energy if we think about the modalities. So, this is maybe a good place to say, if you've never been here before, welcome. This is you're tuning in at the right time. It has been absolutely some of the most chaotic astrology I've ever seen and experienced firsthand. So welcome. If you are here as a free supporter, thank you. Please subscribe. Please like these things, share them in notes on Substack, whatever. If you're listening on your podcast platforms, rate and review. This helps other people find me. It bumps me in the algorithm. The whole gamification of creating art and media in this day and age, know it well. And if you would like, I would love if you would become a paid supporter. So if you want to join what I have dubbed the third space, that is for paid subscribers for $7.77 a month. You can support this publication is totally user supported. So you can get bonus content like this episode. There will eventually be a paywall, but I will always have free stuff, enough to like get you through. But if you want to dig in and go dive a little deeper, then you have access to that. You have access to them into the comments. Also, the private chat, which is the feature on Substack, is available for third space members only, and also for founding members. So you can pay like for the year, like flat, like $77.77, or you can pay a little bit more at 111 and 11 cents, $111.11 for the whole year. And you'll get a free astrology consultation with me and also discounts for future readings. So this is great if you're one of my people who comes to me regularly for readings. You get this, you get discount on your readings. You could gift that to a friend if you want. Oh, shoot. That reminds me. I know there's some people who needed a code for a friend. I will get to you. Oh my God. I don't know. I have been having this combo with friends lately. Again, maybe it's just the wacky astrology of 2025. I cannot text to save my life right now. I don't know if it's like my Jupiter return in Gemini or just like, I don't know. We're still freshly out of Mercury retrograde, but like I cannot. Maybe it's because I do a lot of stuff on the computer for my work. I like can't text. I am like, I keep responding in my mind and then not replying. Anyway, so if this is you and I owe you a text, like text me again, please. Or voice memo me. Honestly, would love a voice memo instead. Or call me, whatever. Um, this is just like a personal plea now for anyone I hadn't followed up with. If I owe you an email, please check back in with me. I'm a one-stop shop. I run all this by myself, including the readings, the research, the design, the editing. I'm an indie gal just doing this. So that's why your user support helps me I can make more stuff for you. So, for the cost of buying me an iced latte with oat milk, and so I can tip the barista, um, you get all this good stuff. So, thank you for listening to my request, my very Venusian request for your support. And I'm going to pull up the chart in just a moment so we can look at this full moon in Libra chart. If you're listening on audio, that's okay. I will describe it at length because I'm natal Mercury in Gemini. So you will have everything described to you. But if you'd like to watch this on video, it's available on Substack, on YouTube, all that jazz. So, I mean, huge news that this is the first lunation after the freaking eclipses. So this is the reset button. In many ways, especially since Venus is going to go retrograde. This full moon is in Libra. Libra is a Venusian Venus ruled sign. Holy fucking Venus. What was your Venus? Oh my God. I'm baby. I don't know if you probably can't hear this because the mic cuts it out pretty well, but I'm babysitting a little Libra kitten right now for my friend, amazing astrologer, Megan Rose. Check out her podcast and Substack, Star Crossed. Fantastic. I have to let this kitten in. So BRB, I mean, this gets edited. So, anyways. All right, little kitten Paloma is now with me. This is so funny because this happened. I feel like this happens with cats. And rest in peace, my cat Rosie is like they hear talking and they're like, "Oh, she wants me. Oh, she's requesting me." It is so nice to babysit this sweet little kitten. She's really just pets just bring so much levity in turbulent times, and um, yeah, just having a little fuzzy stuffed animal looking thing to care for and that does silly stuff like eat socks and, you know, lays on their back and flips upside down. Just I can't as a witch, I can't understate the importance and value of and healing energy of cats. So even if you're like, I'm not a cat person, well, maybe you haven't met the right cat. Like and also dogs are great. Animals love creatures. Like one of my good friends, a couple, B and Joe, they always refer to their pets and rest in peace to their sweet dog who just passed, Strelka Wolf, but they always reference to their pets as their creatures. And I just now have picked up the term creatures. So shout out to B and Joe. I'm thinking of you and all your beautiful creatures in the earth realm and other. Okay, so let me get this chart up and we can go over what aspects are being made, what's the theme, what's the vibe, and look at this Libra full moon chart. Okay, so we have the chart up now. You can see it. Don't worry too much about the rising sign. That is going to change depending on your time zone. What aspects are remain from the planets will not, but LA, where I'm based, having a 28 degrees Virgo rising chart is um, unique to this zone. I mean, also like if you're along the West Coast, it'll probably be around the same. So, anyways, adjust for your time zone was the long way to say that. So, yeah, let's take a look at this chart. So, a full moon is when the moon is as far away from the sun, the opposition to the sun that we have. It is when the moon is its big and brightest. So, this is when we're releasing, when we're seeing everything. And, especially after so much assessment, reassessment, changes, surprises that this last month, especially March, because March was some of the really top wild astro we had seen in a minute. This hopefully should feel like shoulders dropping time, like, oh, okay, like we did it. Life still goes on. And, I know for me, a big lesson was like, what did worrying do? What did obsessing over someone else's bullshit do? What did, um, yeah, what did these, maybe some promises that didn't come to fruition? Like where, you know, Aries is the sign of self and Libra is the sign of other. But when we're in a full moon, especially in Venus retrograde, we are releasing a lot of those themes. And so a big phrase for this is what about me? Like, what about me? I mean, for this Los Angeles chart, too, we have the moon in the first house, which is quite a literal translation from that. But Venus still being retrograde in this chart means that we are not done figuring out the Venus retrograde lessons, and we probably won't have further clarity until we have our next lunation. So the next new moon, which we'll have at the end of the month in Taurus on April 27th. I'm really looking forward to that new moon. I think it's going to be, of course, like all transits have their bumpiness, but I'm just so ready for Taurus season. This Aries season has really been the rockin' sock'em Aries season. I forgot to mention, like, we just had our last eclipse in Aries and Libra. This is our first Libra lunation without eclipse energy in a number of years, since like 2023. This is a fresh start for Libra. If you are a Libra sun, moon, rising, or have Libra placements or whatever, this should feel like a breath of fresh air. Your patience has paid off, and hopefully some shitty people have left the building for you, because again, we can't talk about Libra without talking about connection to other people. And the same thing with Libra is also its scales of justice. Like, hopefully justice was served. Hopefully you got to say your piece in whatever conflict or negotiation or whatever was coming up for you. And you know, I think something to think about too is, like, with the Libra scales of balance, a lot of people think about 50-50, being equal. And while that is technically equal, is it equality? And I think the themes of equality are going to be extra, extra highlighted in this time period. Obviously, in the United States, I mean, what's there to even say at this point? It's a fucking clown show. It's not, I was about to say it's not real, which is not true. It is real. It feels so big and stupid that that's like, it's hard to, it's like, this is real, this is really happening. Okay, but it's so fucking big and stupid. So let's talk about what aspects are being made to the moon first and foremost, and then we'll move around the chart. So the Libra moon is opposite the Aries sun because, again, they're sister signs, they're the polarity. Something to point out straight away is this Chiron conjunction, and a really tight 23-degree Aries sun Chiron conjunction. Chiron, if you've had a reading with me, great time to plug, Stevie. If you would love to get your chart done and know where this full moon or other things are happening to you personally, again, this is a reading for the collective. So, and an updates and education for the collective. But I do readings. You can book through my Substack. There's a tab, book a reading. You can find it through my website, stevies.world. All the things are in the show notes. DM me if you have any questions. I do readings via Zoom. So if you're anywhere in the world, it's all good. And I also do readings in person at a shop called Pure Heart Collective in Sherman Oaks. My April schedule should be coming up. I'm actually going to be doing a really big market bazaar there on May 4th. So mark your calendars, more details to come. I believe all my readings on May 4th include a reading with the legendary Ball of Light psychic medium Wendy from Otherworld podcast. So she's booked out till 2027. So come to the bazaar, come to I think it's called the Spiritual Fair. We just started texting about it. But come May 4th. It'll be right after my birthday, so I'd love to see you. A great birthday gift would be you coming and spending time for a reading with me. And yeah, so anyways, back to healing. Chiron, and I talk about this in my readings a lot, Chiron is shaped like a key because it can be the secret sauce, the secret like opening to past traumas. Whether this, again, it depends how we want to get with it. This could be from early childhood. This can literally be from past lives, ancestral trauma. And so Aries, again, the sign of self here with Chiron, people can be quite scared of Chiron because it can be just stuff that hurts and we don't know why. But this is such a time to get right with yourself. Like, give yourself a break. Maybe you've completed a cycle as well. Like, having this can come into a conjunction. It's like, for some of you, the work might be done. And for some of you, you're just starting. It doesn't feel like middle, it feels like some of you are just beginning a healing process and some of you are wrapping one out. And so knowing where you are and what you need right now is going to be really necessary in this Libra full moon. Now, like, we're never done, evolving, working on ourselves, etc. But sometimes we do hit the end of a story. Sometimes we've processed something enough. Sometimes at a certain point, re-traumatizing yourself over and over again is just keeping you in a really stuck position. So um where have you matured? Where have you graduated? Where have you seen that there is maybe a next thing that you're ready to work on? Or if you're someone that's just starting, you know, knowing that you're just starting, knowing that it's maybe the first time you're uh, trying to make art. Maybe it's the first time you're uh, taking care of your health, going to the doctor. Maybe it's the first time you're going to therapy. Maybe it's the first time, because Aries is also the first, but it's this combo story, right, with Libra. Um, so yeah, if this is your sign that you're ready to start something in the healing realm or wrap up something, um, that may be for you. We often have to go through different cycles. Some things hit. Like sometimes we're in that, like, oh my God, I'm hitting Pilates every week. And then you just plateau. Like, and knowing when we're in a plateau too, and when we might need some new medicine or a new activity, or again, honoring those Aries healing vibes, which is needing sometimes like variety, or being challenged. Maybe whoever, whatever healing modality you've been in has been just kind of like cushiony and like not very challenging. Maybe they let you, talk on your bullshit and don't call you out. Like, shout out to my Libra therapist, because I love when she'd be like, I don't believe you on that one, or like, I don't know about that. And I'd be like, tight, you're a real one. Those Libras will surprise you with their like, actually. Let me see if there's. Well, we ended up going straight to the sun, so let me stick in the sun zone. Okay. Well, actually, this brings us to the main event. We have this big T square to Mars. So Mars is quite the conversation starter in this chart. Again, we were just in personal planet retrograde hell all year. And if you're like, what is she talking about with personal planets? Personal planets are, let me zoom in here. Mercury. So it's kind of wedged between Neptune and the North Node there. Mercury, Venus right there, and Mars. We can see them in the sky. They move the fastest. They are said to be more influential in our day-to-day activity. So if someone has something really big they want to do in a day, we really want to look at, of course, the sun and moon, but Mercury, Venus, Mars in a more direct effect. Now, if we want to think about like groups or like a little zooming out of that, we would look at Jupiter and, well, that's nice. I mean, I remember there's a trine. We'll talk about it. We'll get to Jupiter. Jupiter and Saturn are our social planets, so they represent more of like the structure, the systems, a little bigger than us and more about the group and like immediate surroundings. And then the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, longer generational themes, again, still important. But on a day to day, like if you're like, hey, I have a photo shoot today, how's anything I should know? Like we want to look at sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars first and foremost, mainly the moon, like because the moon's ever changing and gives us a real like day to day weather report. Anyways, we can talk about that in your reading, because we can talk about dates, or if you want to launch something or pick a wedding date or whatever. All of that is some things to consider. Okay, this fucking Mars T square. T square is when we have an opposition, so sun and moon are opposite, and then the sun is squaring Mars and the moon is squaring Mars. Squares are tension, squares are I'm pissed, squares are notice me, squares are we have to do something different. So there is still some frustration in this chart, and it's still related to this Mars that was retrograde, and it's Mars in Cancer. Mars has been in Cancer for 900 years. I'm exaggerating. It's been a long fucking time. It's going to move into Leo, I think, on the 30th, end of the month. Mars in Cancer is, as a natal Mars in Cancer, I think it can often be underestimated. This can sometimes clue in themes of family. Maybe it's a competition with family. Maybe there's been some self comparison to family. Because again, this is hitting your identity with the sun and the moon of the feelings. Like it's like ego and like shadow side. And there's something here, like a competition that you're just maybe ready to call off. It's probably a competition no one else knows about but besides you. Or it could be, um Cancer Mars energy, in which we're all collectively in, so we're all susceptible to it right now, can take things really personally and feel like everything. It's like, I don't know, when you just are out with friends and you're like, is that about me? If this feels about me, is that a subtweet? Is that this? Like, that is very Cancer Mars. And um just stay back to healing, back to healing. If that is what keeps coming up, there's still more healing to do. If you feel really like, no, I feel really like, especially with friendship or your partner, Libra's definitely connected with love. If it feels like, no, I'm not in a competition with this person. I can be me and they can be them. Yippee. Like, isn't that what we're all trying to do in life? But there is maybe still some shadowy competition side that has not maybe been that might still be revealing itself for some of you. Oh my God, it's making so many other aspects. Okay, let's get into these. Oh my God. Okay, we'll get into the other aspects of what is happening with this chart. Okay, if you are not a paid subscriber, this is the part where we're going to pay more. Sorry. I hope you got a lot of good info in that first chunk. If you are a third space member, let's keep going. Also, if you really want to be about that life, you could do a free trial if you're like, what's this about? And check it out. So, anywho, let's keep talking about this Mars impact, shall we?